Hey there, this is Hamed Yazdi from Boulder, Colorado, and congratulations on finding this video because this may be one of the most impactful videos you ever watch. I'm going to talk about fear in building your business, okay? Now, what I'm going to talk about is geared toward fear in building your network marketing business and getting to the level that you want and moving your business forward. However, the principles taught here can be very well used in fear in other areas of your life as well. And the reason this is a very important concept is because I used to be afraid to build my business and talk to people I didn't know. And what happened was, once I developed the confidence to be able to do that and overcome that fear, that's when my business really started taking off. And I want to tell you a few things. I have a cheat sheet here. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But there's 6 different things I want to talk about. First of all, what does fear mean? What does it mean when you feel afraid to do something? Recognize that fear and understand that what it means is that you're growing. Okay? If you don't feel like you're afraid, then that means you're not growing. Okay? And a really important phrase that I learned at the Millionaire Mind Intensive was that if you're not growing, then what are you doing? You're dying. Okay? There's no neutral, I'm just hanging out, stagnant. No. If you're not growing, then you're dying. If a plant isn't growing, then it's dying. And that's the same thing with you as a person, as your personal development, okay? And understand that. I learned this from one of my mentors who made about $600,000 last year. And a couple years ago, he said that success lies just outside your comfort zone, okay? You want to have success? Get out of your comfort zone, get a little uncomfortable, have a little bit of fear, okay? And your comfort zone is equal to your money zone. You want a big money zone? You got to stretch your comfort zone. Whenever you operate within your comfort zone, understand that you've just limited your money potential as well, okay? So keep that in mind. The second thing is, well, what do we even have fear of, okay? One of the most common things that people have fear of is fear of looking bad, okay? Now, this can be as simple as you don't want to show up with your shirt inside out, to, you don't want to get rejected, to, you don't want to ask a girl on a date and have her kind of laugh at you. Again, rejection. So looking bad, okay, that's really what it all comes down to. Most fear comes from the fear of looking bad. And that's why you see people getting in these small arguments and then it heats up bigger and bigger because one person says something to the other person in fear of looking bad in front of everyone else says something, worse in retaliation, and then it keeps escalating like that, and all of a sudden you have families breaking up, friends breaking up, even eventually wars being fought because of things like not wanting to look bad, okay? Now, what I want you to understand is there is also a fear from failing, by the way, is just another form of fear from looking bad, okay? Because if there were no one in the world to see if you failed or not, you'd probably not worry about it too much. Now, there's definitely a fear as well of fear of the unknown, being uncomfortable. And this is where fear of success can come in as well. I think a lot of times that's what stopped me was fear of success. Now, you may be thinking that, why would anyone be afraid of succeeding? Well, because you're stepping into an unknown realm that's outside your comfort zone. You might be broke and miserable, but comfortable because it's what you know. And so that's what keeps you sometimes, the fear of that success and getting out of that comfort zone, okay? Now, what I want you to understand is, have a mental shift with yourself. Ask yourself, what is the worst thing that can happen, okay? And I'm going to focus specifically on approaching people you don't know about your business, okay? Now, in my business, I've introduced dozens of people to my business, and most of them, the vast majority of them came from people I didn't know before, people that I just ran into, I met, started a conversation with, and a couple things I want you to understand is you miss 100% of the shots you never take. That's by Wayne Gretzky. Beautiful quote, one of my favorites. You miss 100% of the shots you never take. Okay? So if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Okay? If you do ask and the person says yes, well then you win. If they say no, you break even. So you either win or you break even. You're never going to lose. They're not going to say no and then put a gun to your head. I haven't heard of anyone do that. Okay? Now, let's move on and say, what do top earners and successful people in our industry do about fear? Okay? Do they just not have fear? Do they just learn how to, just remove fear from their life? I don't think that's really possible if you want to grow. Okay? Unless you have some kind of mystic, just techniques like certain monks might have, which I know that I'm not at that level, and most people in our industry aren't. Just accept the fact that you're going to be afraid, but what top earners do is they do it anyway. okay? They're afraid, they do it anyway. They don't want to make phone calls, they don't want to get rejected, but they do it anyway. They do the important things that they know that they want to do. Let me give you an example. When I was snowboarding and I was, learning a little bit more, I wanted to start doing aerials. I wanted to start doing backflips, okay? I just really had a passion. I wanted to do backflip. Of course, I was afraid at first. And you know what's funny? I now can do them, all the time, and I still am afraid of doing it, but I nail it every time. When I approach someone new, I still get that funny feeling inside where I'm a little bit worried, but I do it anyway. And I'll tell you, most of the time, I can get them to give me their contact information, okay? So you just do it anyway, okay? Now, also accept the fact that you're not going to get it right on the first time. You never will, okay? Of course, when I first tried a backflip, I didn't get it right. I fell on, I just fell down, did it again, fell down. Eventually, I remember the first time that I got it, it felt so good, and then after that, it just came naturally, okay? But acknowledge that it's normal, okay? I mean, wonderful quote right here. As long as you accept that you will get wet, you won't suffer from being wet. Let me move this out of the way. Okay? As long as you accept you will get wet, you won't suffer from being wet. So genius, so simple, but brilliant. Okay? And this comes from something, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, Hagakure Bushido, chapter 1, or book 1. Just understand that. If you accept that it's going to suck, it's going to be bad, your first presentation is going to be terrible, mine was, your first approaches are going to be terrible, mine were terrible. Let me tell you, I approached people, I approached guys, they probably thought I was hitting on them, like just looking at me like, this guy's weird, It was just, I didn't know what I was saying. How could they know what I was saying? Okay, my first presentations too. But you know what? The more I did it, the better I got, okay? And the less fearful I became, although still, I have fear of a lot of things. I had fear of shooting my first videos, but you know what? I do it anyway. And, it's working pretty well for me. So if you're waiting for the day to come where you have no fear, where you're just waiting for that one day, if only the day comes where I just have no fear, I'll just keep meditating until that day comes, guess what? That day is never going to come, okay? I don't know a single top earner who doesn't have a day of fear, okay? So just throw that out of your mind. It's just a bunch of nonsense if you're waiting for the day to come where you don't have fear, okay? Now, how to help you work through your fear, because we already accepted that you can't get rid of it, right? So how do we move forward? This is the fourth topic I'm going to talk about, and you can't get rid of it completely unless you're not growing, which means you're dying. So if you want to die, if you want to not grow, then that's okay to have no fear. But having fear is a good indication that you're growing. So let's talk about this tip that will change your mindset. What I'm going to say is, don't be selfish. You see, the biggest problem that people have when they don't want to get rejected, they feel fearful, is they focus on themselves, okay? I had a teammate who was on an airplane ride and was really, chatting with the person next to him. And then he calls me afterward, and when we're talking, he said, man, I really want to talk to that guy and get his contact information. I really want to introduce my business, but I just didn't know what to say. And my response wasn't, oh, it's okay, let me give you a pat on the back, at least you thought of it, and here, use this script next time. What I told him was, I can't believe how selfish you were. And, that kind of, what do you mean, selfish? I said, yes, that's so selfish. You let your personal emotions and fear get in the way of enhancing someone else's life, of introducing them to an opportunity that can forever change their life, and many people that they know, and you let this tiny thing, your little ego, your little sense of fear and selfishness and self-conceitedness get in the way of that? What's the matter with you? And when I told him that, it really shifted his mindset. So if you ever feel afraid, don't focus on yourself. Hopefully you believe in what you're promoting. If you don't promote it. Find something that's worth promoting. But if you really understand that you are making a positive impact on other people, know that if you feel afraid, it's because you're focusing on yourself. But instead, shift your focus on your audience, on the person you're talking. Focus on how much you can help that person. And then you take yourself out of the formula, and that will greatly help you overcome the fear and still approach them anyway. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't be selfish. And what else? Don't overanalyze. That's what he did. He was overanalyzing. What do I say? I'm going to talk about this in the 6th step. But the 5th step, let's talk about some inspiration of what comes through with fear. What I want you to understand is, from all the successful people that I've come across, they say that your greatest breakthrough comes with the greatest breakdown. Okay? Every successful person who made a huge breakthrough in their life, it came from just, catastrophe in their life, cataclysmic fear and uncertainty. I'll tell you my story. When I was in Lebanon, I was starting to build my business. I didn't really see much result for about 3 months, and I made the decision to never take money from my parents again. Now, in that country, you know, it wasn't safe to drink the tap water, so I had to buy bottled water. There was a little, you know, stand by my house where they sold a liter of water, which was $1, 1,500 lira. And then they sold these little, you know, little ones. I don't even remember how much they were, but, you know, the size, but they were 500 lira, you know, about a third of $1 or something like that. I wanted to go get a full liter. And you know what? I didn't have enough money. I literally had about the equivalent of 33 cents to my name, okay? And I made the decision not to take money from anyone else. I bought my water, I went upstairs, and I literally wanted to sit down and just cry and think, what have I gotten myself into? How am I going to pay off my debt? Here I am, telling everybody that I'm going to make it big, trying to, you know, overstep my boundaries, you know, get out of my comfort zone and really make this happen and live that dream that I want to live. And I can't even afford to buy a bottle of water. And you know what? That's when I got one of my commissions. Okay, I think the very next day I got one of my commissions, and after that, as they say, the rest is history. You know, it just kept piling up, more money, to a point to where I had more money than I knew what to do with. I was blowing it off. I did a lot of stupid things. You know, I got to a monthly 5-figure income when I was 19, 20 years old. It's pretty cool. I think my biggest check was about $18,000 at that age. And just understand that it was right after a point where I was on the verge of tears. So if you're going through a difficult time in your life and you feel a little uncomfortable, you feel a little bit afraid, you feel like you're doubtful, maybe you didn't make the right decision, how are you going to overcome this debt? How are you going to accomplish the goals? How are you going to spend time with your family? And you're feeling like, man, maybe I made the wrong decision. Understand that that could be the place you need to be in to have your biggest breakthrough, okay? That's what happened for me and a lot of other people, okay? But the important thing you gotta understand is, how badly do you want it? You see, I wanted it, not 50%, not 65%. I wanted it 100%. I wanted it with everything, every cell in my body. I was breathing and sleeping and eating and drinking success. I wanted that passive income so badly that I was willing to do whatever it took and get up again, even after my fear and, you know, after falling down. You know, I'll give the analogy of snowboarding. I really wanted to learn how to do a backflip. Now, that's not something super important, you know, for life, but it was important to me. I really wanted to do it. But on the other hand, I didn't really care much for jibs. You know, it's when you jump on, you know, I mean, a piece of metal in the mountain, okay? I tried a couple of times. I slipped. I fell. I got a contusion or something, whatever. When you get a bruise, like, on your bone, it hurts. And you know what? I was like, screw this. This is not worth it. It wasn't worth it to me to keep trying. If it was, I would have kept trying and I would have gotten up again. Even if I got hurt again, I would have got up again. But it just wasn't worth it to me. I just don't care much for being able to slide on, you know, a metal pole on a mountain. But I care to do backflips. That's what I learned. That's what I did over and over again until I got good at it, okay? So in your business, maybe if you're not really trying to overcome your fear or build it through your fear, maybe what that means is you just don't want success badly enough, okay? Because when you fall down and it hurts, if it's not worth it, you're not going to get back up, okay? So keep that in mind. You know, one of the nice quotes that I heard, I believe from Jim Rohn, he says, if you fall down, make sure you fall on your back so you can look up and get up, okay? And that's really powerful. Another thing I want you to memorize is, the stronger your why, then the easier the how. Okay? If you know exactly what you want in life and you really want it, the how-to becomes easy. Once the why is clear, then the how-to, the training, it all happens, you know, it's just kind of secondary. It just kind of comes naturally. You'll do whatever it takes to learn what you need to learn once you have that strong desire to be able to do that. Okay? And also understand that the people who reject you, because that's really what most fear is, fear of rejection. The people who reject you, don't let them affect you. Let me ask you, your friends who reject you, even the ones who care about you, first of all, do they have the lifestyle that you want to have? People who are giving you advice? You're getting advice from broke people? They're not going on vacations, they're not spending time with their families, they're at a dead-end job, and you're taking their advice and letting their opinions about what you do affect you? And let me ask you this. If they say don't do this business, and you get affected by it, is that person going to pay for your college tuition or for your kids or your debt? Is that person going to pay for you to go on vacations around the world? Are they going to pay for that? I don't think so. They're not going to buy you a new car. Why would you let them affect your decision? You got to know inside, you know, in your heart and your mind, that only you can affect your circumstances, okay? You see, I was so focused on my vision And I was so focused on seeing the things that I wanted to have in my life, you know, my car. You know, at that time it was pretty materialistic, you know, being able to travel. I was too focused on seeing that. I couldn't see all the people that were laughing at me. I was too focused listening to the sound of the waves pounding against the beaches of the world that I'd be traveling on, that I couldn't hear people making fun of me. I couldn't hear them telling me that I'm crazy, because I was too focused on hearing the sound of the birds chirping as I'm laying down in my hammock, you know, somewhere in Hawaii and enjoying it. That's really what I felt, and I didn't let them affect me, because I knew that they're not going to help me get there, okay? Those people who reject you. Now, my first approaches, they were absolutely terrible. I think I mentioned this, and, you know, just understand, you know, and I did a video on this, go for no. The more no's you get, the more yeses you will get, and you will get better. You become much more comfortable and start coming more naturally, okay? I've gotten to a point to where, I mean, pretty much 8, 9 times out of 10 when I talk to someone, they're open to at least exchanging contact information. And that's what it gets to when you feel very confident what you're doing, even if you have that fear. I still get those butterflies sometimes, okay? Which leads me to the 6th and final step I'm going to talk about. So what action should you take to help you with your fear? Well, first of all, just talk to people. Don't talk about your business, just make some friends, okay? Or, you know, whatever method you want to use. If you want to build your business on Facebook, just start connecting with people, okay? You want to start shooting videos like I'm doing, just start shooting a video. It doesn't have to be about your business, just document something, you know, your day, whatever it is. Just say hi to people. Don't even ask for their phone number. Don't even tell them it's about their business, because that's what happens. A lot of people think, oh my God, how am I going to get this person my business? When really what you should be thinking about is, let me make a friend. Let me connect with someone, okay? So that's the first thing. Just try to connect with more people so you get more confident talking to more people, if that's the route that you want to go, okay? Second, don't overanalyze, okay? That's the problem. We get in our own ways, okay? We get that, we become overly analytical, and I was taught to do this in school because I studied mechanical engineering. You have to be analytical. You got to think before you talk. You got to just think every single strategy. You know, you're playing chess. You know, I used to play chess, and one of my mentors, my coaches told me that even if you think you got a great move, first make sure that there's no better move. Well, don't do that. If you're trying to build a business, you got to initiate. You got to move forward. You got to just say something. And here's a great method to do that. Use a 3-second rule. When you come close to someone, give yourself 3 seconds before you start a conversation. And the reason is because if you don't talk to them and they leave and you were talking about, shoot, what do I say? What do I say? And then they're gone, you're going to beat yourself up thinking, what if that was my next leader, my next big leader in my business, and I just lost them? You will never know until you try. Give yourself 3 seconds, start a conversation. It doesn't matter what you say. People are pretty open in general. And if they're not, hey, maybe you don't want them on your business anyway, okay? If I'm looking at, you know, a big jump and I'm snowboarding, why would I sit there and stare at it for half an hour and let all the butterflies in my stomach come up and give myself the possibility of talking myself out of it? The funny thing is, you do much better when you just go for it. Don't talk yourself out. Don't even give your chance the opportunity to deviate from what you want to do and talk yourself out of it. When you think too much, your head starts getting in your way. Go with your gut, go with your instinct, just move and make it happen. Use that 3-second rule. Give yourself 3 seconds to start a conversation, okay? And, I mean, it's actually more awkward. If you're sitting next to someone in a doctor's office and you're sitting like for 3 minutes, okay, what do I say? What do I say? Gosh, they got nice shoes. No, they might, you know, that's weird. Let me see, what else? Oh, they're reading a magazine. I wonder what article. It's really awkward after 5 minutes to say, it's a nice day outside, don't you think? I mean, it's, come on. When you sit there right then and there, that's the easiest time to start a conversation. The easiest time is right when you meet them at the very beginning, within 3 seconds. It's going to flow a lot more naturally for you, okay? So keep that in mind. And then the next thing I want you to do is celebrate rejection. Celebrate your no. Celebrate overcoming your fear. Okay? We have a Facebook group, and often we all share information like this. You know, when I talk to someone and they say no, I give myself a pat on the back, give myself a high five, and I put it on my face. Hey, I got a no today. It's exciting. You celebrate it and have fun, okay? Have fun when you're overcoming your rejection. Try to find some people who are also going through that same phase and make it fun, overcoming your fear, okay? And one other thing that's really impactful, I learned this from Kim Claver, who was one of the best people in network marketing, and she built huge organizations in a very short amount of time. They used to do something called cadaver calling. Now, if you know what a cadaver is in the medical industry, basically it's people who aren't quite licensed yet, or they haven't finished their degree yet, they're not ready to operate, when they want to do surgery, for example. And so what they do is they bring dead bodies for them to operate on, okay? And so basically if they're doing an operation, they puncture a lung, it's okay because the person's already dead, okay? And they do that over and over again until they feel comfortable doing it for a live person. So how do we do that in our business? Cadaver calling. Just pick up the phone book and start making some calls without any expectations. You can make residential calls, business calls, whatever. You know, people who are posting ads on Craigslist, just call them and just ask a random question. Just say, hey, this might be a total shot in the dark. Do you want to make some extra income? I'm looking for some people to partner with me in this area. You know anyone who wants to make some extra income? If they hang up on you, it doesn't matter. It's a cadaver call. You're not expecting anything anyway. But the beautiful thing is you just might find that 1 out of 100 person from your just flat out cold call. They just say, yeah, what you got? You know? And they might become your best friend. They might become your top leader in your business. So try that, cadaver calling and celebrating, okay? So I hope I've given you some tips to be able to overcome your fear. Let's go over just a recap real quickly. First of all, recognize when you have fear, it means you're growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So that's a good thing, okay? Success lies outside your comfort zone. Remember that. Your comfort zone equals your money zone. What do you have fear from? You have fear from looking bad, okay? And you got to remember to overcome that, or failing. Remember, what's the worst thing that can happen, okay? You're still going to be alive. You're still going to make it through, okay? And what do top earners do? They go through their fear anyway. They have the fear, but they do what they need to do anyway, regardless, okay? So think about that. Do it anyway. How do you work through fear? Remember, don't be selfish. You got to really understand, put my focus on this person. I want to help this person. I don't know what they're going through in life. Maybe they're going through a foreclosure. They need my help, okay? So think about that. Don't be selfish. Don't think about yourself. And then understand that your biggest breakthrough is going to come with your biggest, breakdowns. When you're having a hard time, that could be a very good sign that you are on the verge of a tipping point in your life and in your business. What to do to overcome your fear? Talk to people. You don't have to talk about your business. Just get a little more comfortable talking to them and being a little more outgoing. Don't overanalyze it. Give yourself that 3-second rule. And finally, celebrate it. And lastly, make some cadaver calls. Have fun with it. I sincerely hope that this video has helped you. Okay, this is a lot of information. I understand that, but really internalize it, because understand that there is a power within you that is just unbelievable. Okay, they say that man's greatest fear is not what they're not capable of, but that we are capable beyond measure. The quote goes something like that. You are capable beyond measure if you just understand that the only thing that's keeping you from getting to where you want is this little thing inside your head, the fear. But understand, acknowledge it, know that it's a good thing, and move forward, okay? Please leave a comment and tell me how this video affects you. Try some of the techniques I talked about and let me know how it goes for you, because I can guarantee you will have amazing results once you can get that roadblock, that mental roadblock, get that head trash out of your head and move forward and build it anyway. And I will see you at the top. God bless.